"Hey, sweetie," I said. The alien princess blushed and replied, "Yes, darling." Then we both laughed. The human ship Odyssey sailed smoothly among them, its sleek silver hull reflecting distant suns. Captain Elias Vega stood on the observation deck, gazing at the vast emptiness with both excitement and nervous anticipation. Humanity had traveled far, but this mission was different. They were heading to a planet no human had ever set foot on, Virlia, home to a civilization rumored to be as advanced as any in the galaxy. Elias could feel his heart racing. The mission was simple in theory: make contact, establish relations, and learn about the aliens, technology, and culture. But in reality, it was anything but simple. No one knew how the Virlians would react to humans. Would they welcome them or see them as a threat? "Captain," called Lieutenant Myra Singh, breaking his thoughts, "we're entering Virlian orbit. Scanners show a massive city floating above the surface. Energy readings are off the charts." Elias turned to the wide viewing window. Below them floated a city that seemed to shimmer in the light of three suns. Towers of crystal and metal spiraled into the sky. Bridges of glowing energy connected the buildings like delicate threads of light. It was more beautiful than anything Elias had ever imagined. "Prepare the landing shuttle," Elias said, his voice steady despite the excitement inside. "We're about to meet royalty." The shuttle descended slowly, cutting through the thin atmosphere of Virlia. The city below seemed alive, its lights shifting and pulsing as if welcoming them. When the shuttle touched down on a smooth platform, a group of Virlians awaited. They were tall and graceful, with skin that shimmered faintly, like moonlight on water. Their eyes were larger than humans, full of intelligence and curiosity. At the center of the group stood Princess Lyra, the heir to Virlia's throne. Her presence was both commanding and gentle. She wore flowing robes that reflected the colors of the three suns, and her eyes sparkled as she studied the humans with a mixture of caution and interest. Elias stepped forward and bowed slightly. "I am Captain Elias Vega, representing humanity." "It is an honor to meet you, Princess Lyra." Lyra inclined her head gracefully. "Captain Vega, welcome to Virlia. We have observed your kind for some time. Your arrival is most intriguing." Her voice was melodic, carrying a rhythm that seemed almost musical to human ears. As Elias tried to respond, he accidentally tripped over a small platform edge. His arms flailed and he stumbled forward. Myra quickly caught him, but the princess had seen the entire incident. For a moment, silence hung in the air. Then, to everyone's surprise, Lyra let out a soft, tinkling laugh. Elias froze, feeling his face heat up. Humans laughed at awkward situations, yes, but he hadn't expected an alien princess to do the same. He managed a nervous chuckle. "I apologize, Princess." "Earthlings are sometimes clumsy." Lyra's laughter continued, gentle and warm. "Clumsy or brave?" she asked, tilting her head slightly. "Only someone willing to risk falling before royalty would earn my attention." Elias blinked, taken aback. He had expected formalities, rigid customs, maybe even suspicion, but not humor. Something in Lyra's laugh made him feel unexpectedly at ease. He realized, perhaps for the first time on this mission, that humans and aliens could share more than just words. Mara nudged him lightly. "Captain, they've prepared a reception hall. Shall we?" "Yes, of course," Elias said, regaining his composure. They followed Lyra through the crystal corridors of the city. The walls glowed softly, responding to their presence. When they entered the reception hall, Elias could see why the Virlians were considered advanced. The room seemed to float, supported by invisible forces, and the ceiling displayed the movement of stars across distant galaxies. Lyra gestured for them to sit on seats that seemed to hover slightly above the ground. "Tell me about your kind," she said, her eyes bright with curiosity. "We have studied your communications, but meeting you in person is different." Elias cleared his throat. "Humanity is a young species, Princess. We have traveled far and learned much. We are explorers, dreamers, and sometimes, as you've already seen, a little clumsy." Lyra laughed again, shaking her head slightly. "Clumsy can be charming." The conversation turned to the human journey to Virlia. Elias spoke of Earth's oceans, mountains, and bustling cities. He described humanity's inventions, from simple machines to powerful spacecraft. Lyra listened with genuine fascination, occasionally asking questions that made Elias think hard about how to explain human concepts in simple terms. After some time, Lyra stood and floated toward a large observation window. "You see that star cluster?" she asked. We have navigated these paths for generations, yet your arrival is something new. It is rare for a species to cross the void with such intent and courage. Elias moved closer. We humans believe that the universe is meant to be explored. We may be young, but we are persistent. Lyra smiled, and for the first time her face carried a faint blush, a soft pink hue that contrasted beautifully with her shimmering skin. Elias noticed it immediately. He felt his own cheeks warm. "You have courage," she said softly, "and perhaps a sense of humor. That too is valuable." Elias couldn't help but grin. "We do our best. Sometimes the best way to survive the stars is to laugh along the way." For a few moments they simply stood together, looking at the galaxy. Then Lyra turned to him, her expression playful. "Captain Vega, perhaps you will teach me more about human humor," Elias chuckled. "It would be my honor, Princess." As the sun set over Virlia, casting golden light across the floating city, the humans and the princess shared stories and laughter. It was a simple beginning, but one that promised a friendship and alliance that could change the future of both worlds. And for Elias, he realized that even across the vastness of space, shared laughter was the first step toward understanding, and perhaps a little love. And somewhere deep inside, both human and alien hearts felt that spark, the connection that no distance or difference could diminish. The next morning, the sky above Virlia shimmered in soft shades of pink and gold. The three suns rose together, casting a gentle light on the floating city. Captain Elias Vega and his team had been invited to spend the day learning about Virlian culture, technology, and daily life. Princess Lyra, glowing with curiosity and energy, was eager to show the humans the world she called home. Elias followed her through corridors that glowed softly beneath their feet. The walls displayed moving images, scenes of Virlia's oceans, forests, and cities, shifting colors with every step. It was as if the building itself was alive. Myra whispered, "I've never seen anything like this. It's magical." Elias nodded. "It's unlike anything we've ever encountered, that's for sure." Lyra led them to a large hall filled with devices and displays. "This is our learning center," she said. "Here we combine science and art. Every invention, every machine carries a piece of creativity." Elias looked around, fascinated. Some machines floated in the air, moving in precise patterns. Others projected holograms of distant planets, each one so detailed it felt real. Lyra noticed his interest. "You humans have curiosity," she said with a smile. "Curiosity is the first step to knowledge." They began a series of demonstrations. Lyra showed them how Virlians harnessed energy from the suns, creating clean power that could fuel entire cities. Elias was impressed but also noticed something else. Their approach was different from humans. Where humans focused on practicality, Virlians focused on elegance, harmony, and beauty. After the technical tour, Lyra brought them to a garden suspended in midair. Flowers with colors Elias had never seen bloomed gently, and streams of water floated like ribbons, defying gravity. Lyra laughed as Elias reached out to touch a floating bloom. "Careful," she said. "They are delicate." Elias smiled. "We humans are used to growing things in soil, not in midair." Lyra tilted her head, amused. "Then perhaps we can teach each other." The next hour was filled with what Elias would later call laughter lessons. Humans told simple jokes, explained puns, and shared funny stories from Earth. At first, Lyra's reactions were polite curiosity, her smile polite but reserved. But then something changed. She began to laugh not just politely but truly. Her melodic laughter filled the garden, echoing like music through the air. Elias grinned. "There it is, that's the first true laugh." Lyra's blush returned, faint but noticeable. "It is different," she admitted. "Your humor is unexpected yet delightful," Mara whispered to Elias. "She's really enjoying this." Elias nodded. "Yes, and it feels human in the best way." After the laughter lesson, Lyra suggested they try something more interactive. "We Virlians often express ourselves through movement and energy. Would you like to try?" Elias and his team followed her to a large, open platform where streams of colored light floated around them. Lyra demonstrated a simple pattern, guiding the light with her hands. It moved gracefully, forming shapes and symbols that told a story without words. Elias tried to copy her movements, but the lights bounced off him unpredictably. Lyra laughed again. "Your technique is vigorous but not without charm." Elias laughed too. "We humans are enthusiastic learners." The shared laughter broke any lingering tension. Even Mara, usually reserved, found herself grinning as she tried to direct the lights with clumsy gestures. It was clear to Elias that humor, curiosity, and willingness to try, even clumsily, created a bridge between humans and aliens. After the playful lesson, Lyra guided them to the Virelian dining chamber. The room was unlike any dining hall on Earth. Tables floated at different heights and food hovered in midair, glowing softly. Elias reached out to taste a floating orb, unsure what to expect. It melted in his mouth, sweet and refreshing. Lyra's eyes twinkled as she watched him savor it. "You humans eat in such curious ways," she said, laughing, "and yet you seem to enjoy it." Elias chuckled. "We do. We eat to live, but we also eat to share stories, experiences, and laughter." Lyra nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps there is more for us to learn from each other than I realized." After the meal, Lyra took them to a place Elias would later call the Hall of Stars. The room was dark except for tiny points of light that moved and shifted, recreating constellations, planets, and galaxies. Elias felt a deep sense of awe. "This is our history," Lyra explained. "Every light represents a journey, a discovery, or a memory. Even the smallest stars are remembered." Elias reached out to touch one of the lights, which flickered in response. "Humans also record our history, but yours feels alive." Lyra smiled, and for a brief moment the air between them felt personal, intimate, yet innocent. "History is living," she said. "It connects us, it teaches us." As the day drew to a close, Lyra and Elias walked along a transparent walkway that hovered high above the city. The three suns were setting, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and purple. Elias glanced at Lyra. "You know, humans sometimes underestimate the power of simple things, like laughter, curiosity, and friendship, but today I think we've proven their value." Lyra's blush deepened as she looked at him. "Perhaps humans are more than I imagined, not just curious, not just brave, but capable of warmth." Elias smiled. "And Virelians are capable of teaching humans more than we could ever imagine." They both laughed softly, the sound mixing with the gentle hum of the floating city. For a moment, nothing else existed. No protocol, no duty, no worries. Just two beings from different worlds sharing a moment of pure connection. As they returned to the human quarters for the night, Elias reflected on the day. He had expected to observe, to learn, perhaps even to negotiate. Instead, he had experienced something far more valuable, a friendship born of laughter, curiosity, and mutual respect. He wondered what tomorrow would bring. But for now, he allowed himself a quiet thought. Maybe, just maybe, humanity had a place among the stars not just because of their technology or courage, but because of their heart. And somewhere deep inside, he knew Princess Lyra had felt the same spark. A spark that promised a bond between their worlds that could grow stronger with every shared story, every shared laugh, and every step they took together. The morning light on Virelia was bright and calm, but peace was a fragile thing in the vastness of space. Captain Elias Vega awoke to an urgent alarm on the Odyssey. Red lights flashed across the control panels, and the ship's AI voice sounded tense. "Warning, unstable energy readings from Virelia's orbital defense grid. Immediate attention required." Elias jumped from his bunk. "Mara, get the team. Lyra, can you tell us what's happening?" Princess Lyra appeared quickly, her expression serious. "It seems a section of our orbital defense system has malfunctioned," she said. "It is sending uncontrolled energy pulses. If it continues, the city below could be damaged." Elias' mind raced. He had expected to learn about alien culture, but never to act as an emergency engineer. "Show me the readings," he said, moving to the ship's holographic display. Lines of energy spiraled around Virelia's orbit, some bright and stable, others flickering dangerously. Lyra explained, "The system is designed to protect Virelia from threats in space, but a rogue module is overloading and our automated failsafes are not responding. If we don't stabilize it, the energy will cascade into the city." Elias nodded firmly. "Then we work together. Mara, prepare the shuttle for orbital insertion. I'll need the coordinates for the malfunctioning module. Princess Lyra, stay on the ground and guide us through the control systems. Let's save your city." Lyra's eyes sparkled with determination. "Agreed. We must act quickly. The people below are unaware, but any delay could be catastrophic." The shuttle lifted from the city platform, rising into the sky above Virelia. Elias sat at the controls, while Mara monitored the system's status. Lyra guided them remotely, her voice calm but urgent. The module is here, she said, pointing to a flickering red node in the holographic display. Its energy output is spiking every few seconds. You must stabilize it before it triggers the cascade. Elias studied the readings. It's overloading because of a feedback loop, he said. If we can reroute the energy and reset the module manually, we might be able to stop it. Mara raised an eyebrow. You mean risk going outside the shuttle while it's surging with energy? Elias nodded. Yes. It's dangerous, but if we hesitate, the city below will suffer. Sometimes humans have to take risks for others. That's who we are. Lyra's gaze softened. Then I will stay with you through the systems. I trust your judgment, Captain. The shuttle docked with the orbital defense platform, and Elias suited up for an external EVA, extravehicular activity. The energy arcs from the rogue module crackled like tiny lightning bolts, casting blue and white light across the station. The air was silent except for the hum of the shuttle's life support. Ready? Elias asked, his voice calm but steady. Lyra's voice came through the comms. I am ready. Follow my instructions carefully. I will guide your movements. Elias moved toward the module, careful to avoid the surges of energy. Mara monitored the shuttle's systems and kept communication clear. You're approaching the hotspot, she said. The energy readings are spiking. Elias steadied himself. I see it. Adjusting my position, he reached the module and touched the control panel. Sparks flew, and the panel shivered under the unstable power. Following Lyra's guidance, he rerouted the energy, carefully redirecting it into a stabilizing circuit she had designed. Almost there, Lyra's voice said. Now reset the module. Elias took a deep breath and pushed the final control lever. For a tense moment, nothing happened. Then, with a loud hum, the energy surges ceased. The red flickering light changed to steady green. It's stable. Lyra's voice was filled with relief. You've done it, Captain. Elias exhaled, feeling the tension leave his body. We've done it together. Mara let out a cheer from the shuttle. You humans really know how to save the day, she said, smiling. Lyra laughed softly, the sound like wind chimes. You risked your life for us, Captain. That is truly remarkable, not just your skill, but your courage and heart. Elias smiled, feeling the weight of both pride and humility. Sometimes the right thing to do is also the hardest. Humans have a saying, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. Lyra's blush returned faintly, her expression softening. Then perhaps your people are wiser than I imagined. I see why humans have ventured so far across the stars. You are more than your technology. You are capable of great heart. The shuttle returned to the city platform as the three suns reached their highest point in the sky. Citizens of Virelia went about their day, unaware of the crisis averted above them. Elias and his team stepped out, met by Lyra, who looked at them with genuine gratitude. You have proven much today, Captain, she said. Not just your abilities, but the qualities that make your species unique: humor, courage, and a willingness to act for the good of others. These are gifts as powerful as any technology. Elias nodded. We humans may have flaws, Princess, but we also have something else, the ability to connect, to care, and to protect. That is how we survive the stars. Lyra smiled warmly. And today you've shown me that humans are not only brave, but inspiring. I am honored to have worked alongside you. As the day ended, Elias walked with Lyra across the city platform. The air was warm, filled with soft light from the hovering buildings. Princess, he said quietly, I think today has changed both our worlds. We've learned from each other and maybe we've started something new. Lyra's eyes sparkled and she laughed softly, the familiar warmth returning. Yes, perhaps this is only the beginning. They shared a quiet moment looking out over the floating city, the three suns casting long shadows and golden light. Both human and alien felt it, the thrill of survival, the joy of connection, and the promise of friendship across the stars. In that moment, Elias realized something important. Humanity's greatest strength was not technology or weapons, but their heart, their courage, and the way they could inspire hope even in the most dangerous situations. And Princess Lyra realized something too, that laughter, trust, and collaboration could bridge worlds, creating bonds stronger than any energy shield or advanced machine. The crisis in the stars had passed, but the connection forged in that moment would last far longer than any one challenge. And as Elias looked at Lyra, both felt a spark of friendship, trust, and perhaps something more, something neither words nor distance could fully contain. The city of Virelia glowed softly under the light of its three suns. After the crisis in orbit, A calm had settled over the floating towers, giving the humans a rare moment to explore the beauty and culture of this alien world. Captain Elias Vega walked alongside Princess Lyra, their conversation flowing easily now, free from formalities or fear. Lyra led them to a garden suspended high above the city. Streams of water floated in gentle arcs, and flowers with colors beyond human imagination swayed, as if moved by an invisible breeze. Birds or creatures that resembled them glided gracefully through the air, their feathers shimmering with metallic hues. "This garden is our place of reflection," Lyra explained. "We come here to think, to create, and to connect with others. It is a place where differences matter less and understanding grows stronger." Elias looked around in awe. "It's incredible, like stepping into a dream." Lyra smiled. "Perhaps that is what bridging worlds requires. Seeing the beauty beyond what is familiar and being open to new experiences." They walked along the floating pathways, the soft hum of energy beneath them keeping the garden suspended in midair. Elias felt a sense of peace he had not known in years of space travel. Here, on an alien world, he understood a truth he had only suspected before. Humans were capable of connecting across species, across worlds, because of their curiosity and heart. Lyra stopped at a platform that projected a holographic view of Earth. Elias leaned over, seeing his home planet in delicate blue and green swirls. "It is beautiful," Lyra said softly. "And yet your people are so far away from here. How do you find courage to explore so much?" Elias considered this for a moment. "Humans are curious by nature. We look at the stars and wonder what is out there, but more than that, we care. We care about discovery, about learning, about understanding, and sometimes we care about each other. That gives us courage to take risks." Lyra's eyes softened and a faint blush colored her cheeks. "Then your courage is not just physical, it is emotional, human. That is rare." Elias smiled. "And your openness is rare too. Most of the galaxy would never allow humans so close, yet you have trusted us." They moved to a larger platform where Lyra demonstrated a form of Viorlian art. Beams of colored light floated from her hands, weaving together into shapes and symbols that told a story without words. Elias watched, fascinated. He reached out to try, moving his hands uncertainly. The lights responded slowly at first, but then began to follow his gestures, creating a delicate pattern. Lyra laughed softly. "You humans are vigorous yet creative. I like that." Elias chuckled. "We try. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes, well, we just learn." For a while, they experimented with the light, laughing at mistakes and celebrating small successes. Elias realized that in this playful exchange, he was learning more about Viorlian culture than any formal lesson could teach. And Lyra, he noticed, was learning about humans in the same way, not from data or observation, but through experience, laughter, and patience. As the sun moved across the sky, Lyra guided Elias to a quiet platform overlooking the city. "Tell me," she said, "what do humans value most? What makes you human?" Elias thought carefully. "I think it is our ability to hope, to dream, and to connect with others. We are not perfect. We make mistakes, we fall, and sometimes we fail. But we try again. And when we see someone else struggling, we often reach out. That is our strength." Lyra's eyes softened, and she nodded slowly. "That is beautiful. Your people are remarkable." They fell into a comfortable silence, watching the city below. For Elias, it was a rare moment of reflection. Humans had crossed light years to reach Viorlia, faced dangers they could not imagine, and yet here he was, learning, laughing, and connecting with an alien princess. Lyra turned to him, her voice quiet. "Captain Vega, I want to thank you not just for saving our city, but for sharing your world with me. You have shown me courage, humor, and kindness. I admire that." Elias felt a warmth spread through him. "Princess, it has been my honor. I have learned as much from you as you have from me, perhaps more." Lyra blushed faintly, and Elias noticed the human-like softness in her expression. "Perhaps," she said, "our worlds are not so different after all. Maybe friendship is the bridge that can connect us." Elias smiled. "Yes, and laughter can help build that bridge." They both laughed softly, the sound mingling with the gentle hum of the city. Elias realized that this moment, the shared smiles, the mutual respect, the trust, was as important as any technological achievement or diplomatic negotiation. It was proof that humans could touch hearts across the stars, not just minds. As the day drew to a close, Lyra took Elias to a platform where the floating city reflected the light of the setting suns. The sky was painted in shades of orange, pink, and purple. Humans and Virelians alike paused to watch, feeling the quiet beauty of the world around them. Lyra turned to Elias, her expression gentle. "Captain, I have never met anyone like you. You make humans feel alive and yet somehow safe. Perhaps that is the greatest gift." Elias looked at her, feeling a deep connection he had never expected. "And you, Princess, have shown me that even across worlds, trust and understanding can grow. You've made Virelia feel like home." For a long moment, neither spoke. Then, softly, Lyra said, "Darling, will you join me in learning more about our worlds together?" Elias blinked, a smile forming. "Yes, I would like that very much." They both laughed, a light, genuine sound that carried across the floating garden. The laughter was a bridge, a shared expression of joy and connection. In that moment, it felt as though nothing in the galaxy could break their bond. The day ended with the city glowing beneath them, quiet and peaceful. Elias reflected on everything that had happened, the laughter, the courage, the trust. He realized that humanity's greatest strength was not in their technology or strategy, but in their ability to connect with others, to build bridges with heart and mind. And Princess Lyra realized the same. Across species, across worlds, humans could inspire hope, courage, and friendship, simple qualities, yet more powerful than any weapon or machine. As the sun set completely, casting long shadows and warm light across the floating city, Elias and Lyra stood together, sharing a quiet understanding. They had bridged worlds not just through knowledge or skill, but through laughter, courage, and trust. And both knew, without saying it aloud, that this connection, the spark of friendship and admiration, would grow stronger with every shared story, every shared laugh, and every challenge they faced together. For humanity and Virelia alike, the future was bright, filled with hope, adventure, and the promise of understanding across the stars. The city of Virelia sparkled under the twin light of two suns, while the third sun hung low, casting long shadows across the floating towers. After the crisis and the cultural exchange, the humans and Virelians were no longer strangers. Trust, laughter, and shared experiences had built a bridge between their worlds, one that promised a future of cooperation and understanding. Captain Elias Vega stood on a high observation platform, looking down at the city. The floating gardens, shimmering towers, and softly glowing bridges were breathtaking. But it was not just the beauty of the city that captivated him. It was the sense of life, harmony, and potential he felt in every corner. He turned as Princess Lyra approached, her presence calm, confident, and yet somehow warmly human. "Captain Vega," she said softly, a smile lighting her face, "the Council has approved an interstellar alliance between Virelia and humanity. Our worlds will share knowledge, resources, and culture. Your people will have a place here among us." Elias' heart swelled with pride and gratitude. "That is incredible, Princess. Humanity has always looked to the stars, hoping for friendship, not just conquest. To be welcomed like this, it's more than I could have imagined." Lyra's eyes sparkled. "You humans have earned it, not just through courage and skill, but through your heart. You have laughed with us, learned from us, and saved lives without hesitation. That is rare in any species." Elias chuckled softly. "Well, we do try. Sometimes awkwardly, sometimes clumsily, but we try." Lyra laughed with him, a light musical sound that seemed to blend with the hum of the city. "And that is why I trust you." As they walked together across the platform, citizens of Virelia paused to watch the humans with curiosity and admiration. Children floated in the air, imitating the human gestures and expressions they had seen, while scholars studied the humans' unique methods of problem-solving. The alliance was not just a political move. It was a symbol of hope, understanding, and collaboration. Lyra stopped at a viewing deck overlooking the orbital space above the city. "Captain, look at the stars. Our worlds are so different, yet now they are connected. This alliance is only the beginning. Together, we can explore, learn, and grow in ways neither of us could alone." Elias leaned over the railing, gazing at the endless cosmos. "I've always believed humanity has a place in the stars, but seeing it, feeling it with people like you, Lyra, makes it real. We are not just visitors. We can be partners, friends, even family across worlds." Lyra smiled, and for a moment her expression was shy, almost human. "Captain, perhaps humans are more capable of connection than we imagined. You have hearts that are brave, open, and warm." Elias blushed slightly, caught off guard by her words. "And Virelians have wisdom and grace that inspire humans to be better. I think we've learned from each other more than anyone could teach alone. They shared a quiet laugh, the kind that bridges gaps and builds trust. It was not formal or forced. It was genuine, simple, and joyful. Their laughter echoed across the city, a sound that would remain in memory long after the sun set. The Council of Vyrlia invited Elias and his team to a formal ceremony to mark the alliance. Humans and Vyrlians stood side by side, representatives from both worlds exchanging ideas, greetings, and smiles. The ceremony was more than political. It was a celebration of connection, courage, and hope. Lyra stood at the center, addressing the crowd. Today, we celebrate more than an alliance. We celebrate understanding. We celebrate friendship, courage, and the willingness to see beyond differences. And we welcome humanity as partners in shaping the future of the stars. Elias felt a hand lightly touch his arm. He turned to see Lyra smiling warmly. You did this, Captain. You showed the best of your species, and now your people have a place among us. He smiled back. We did it together, Princess. Humans and Vyrlians, that's what matters. After the ceremony, Lyra took Elias and his team to a quiet garden, away from the celebrations. The soft hum of energy and the glow of floating flowers made the space feel peaceful, almost magical. You know, Lyra said softly, I never imagined that meeting humans could be this meaningful. You laugh, you care, you take risks, and somehow you make others feel safe and inspired. Elias looked at her, feeling a connection he could not put into words. And you, Lyra, have shown that even across worlds, understanding, patience, and trust can create bonds stronger than anything else. You make your people proud, and you've made me feel welcome in a way I never expected. Lyra blushed faintly, the familiar warmth returning to her cheeks. Then, perhaps our worlds can continue to grow together, and perhaps I can call you darling when we laugh together? Elias laughed, a light, genuine sound. Yes, darling, he replied with a smile. Their laughter mingled, echoing across the garden, soft and warm, a symbol of hope and connection. As the suns dipped below the horizon, the city lights began to glow softly. Humans and Vyrlians moved about, some sharing stories, others exploring new technologies, and some simply watching the stars. Elias and Lyra stood together, looking at the horizon, feeling the promise of tomorrow. Captain, Lyra said, this is only the beginning. Together we can explore the stars, learn from each other, and face whatever challenges come next. Humanity has a place here, and I am glad you are part of it. Elias nodded. And I am glad, Lyra. Today I have seen that even across differences, friendship and trust can bridge worlds. We have a future to build, and I think it will be brighter than anything we've imagined. Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the city. Then let us begin together. They laughed again, softly, as if sharing a secret only they understood. The laughter was light, sincere, and filled with hope. The kind of laughter that could carry across worlds and remind everyone that connection, courage, and joy were worth more than any technology or weapon. The city of Vyrlia shimmered around them, humans and aliens alike moving toward a shared future. The alliance was more than politics. It was the beginning of a friendship that could last for generations. And Captain Elias Vega realized, as he looked at Princess Lyra, that humanity's greatest strength lay not just in exploring the stars, but in touching hearts across them. As the three suns disappeared below the horizon, leaving the city bathed in soft starlight, Elias and Lyra laughed together once more. Their laughter was a bridge, a promise, and a celebration of a shared future, one where humans and aliens could learn from each other, protect each other, and grow together among the stars. And in that moment, both knew that the universe was vast, but connection, friendship, and courage made it feel small, bright, and full of possibility.